Well, hello everyone. It's time to make another video. Um, I'm really enjoying this. I hope y'all are. I'm a new channel, so I don't have a lot of views, but I do have, a fair amount, I think. And I'm enjoying it because I really believe I'm doing what God wants me to do. And it's fun doing it. So let's talk a little bit more about money because a lot of people, it's uh, such a controversial subject that people just go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And you know, what do y'all think about money? I know that there's Christians that are dead set against having money. I believe they're dead set against having money because they don't know how to handle the money. They don't know what to do with it. I know plenty of people that have gotten inheritances and several hundreds of thousands of dollars and had no idea how to handle it, but thought they did. And once the money was all gone, if you talk to them, they say it was the worst thing that ever happened to them. But it wasn't the worst thing that ever happened to them. It was how they handled it. It was the way they misused it. See, the thing about money is, I hear people all the time that would say, they'd say, well, if I ever hit the lottery, I would feed the poor. I would do this and I would do that. And I ask them, I said, well, are you doing that now? And they said, well, no, I don't have enough money. I said, well, then if you was to win the lottery or get an inheritance, a large inheritance, you're not going to do it then either. And they want to argue with me, but I just tell them, say, look, money is a tool. Money is not something that is good or evil. It is neutral. Ah, I'm a woodworker. Money is like a hammer. A hammer is a tool. If you use the hammer according to what it's needed for, it's a great tool. It does a great job. However, if you use it what it's not for, um, then you're going to destroy stuff. You're going to destroy things that you don't want to destroy. And that's just like money. I hear people say all the time, money can't make you happy. That's true to it. Money cannot make you happy. But if you can do the things that money allows you to do, that makes you happy. So, yeah, money can make your life much more comfortable, can make your life a whole lot easier. And depending on how you handle it, because money can make your life a whole lot more difficult. And, you know, so you, you just have to have a plan. You need to sit down and set some goals. Uh, Start with personal goals, do financial goals, do physical goals. And when you do them, don't broadcast them. Don't tell everybody what you're doing. Just let them see it. Let them witness it. Let them ask you, "Hey, are you starting to look pretty good? Hey, what are you doing? You're doing this. You're doing that." It's coffee. I I had a couple comments that said that, "What's in that cup?" Well, one time it was milk, and the last couple of times it was coffee, and there was some tea in there too. Just so you know, doesn't matter, but whatever. But Set some goals. Uh, you're never you're never going to accomplish anything if you have no plan. I think that's probably the biggest reason why the church today, Christians, don't have any money, because they're working from paycheck to paycheck. And they say, well, I can't save nothing. Yes, you can. You absolutely can. I don't care if it's a nickel. You can save something. You have to start where you are. Don't try to, don't try to save $100 if all you got is five. Save the five. Go from there. Then once, oh man, all of a sudden you got $6 or you got seven. Throw that in there. Oh, 1 week you got an extra $10. Put that in there. There are so many good um, uh, programs out there to guide you with money, to teach you about money. The Bible is the best, but Dave Ramsey comes to mind, and I'm sure there's plenty of others. But Dave Ramsey is a godly man. He's not going to do things that are ungodly, and I know that there's plenty of, he is just a man, and you have to understand he's a man. He's going to make mistakes, but he's proven himself. He's not some fly by night, not some fly by night person that's talking about money to get your money. He has his own money. And set some goals. Set realistic goals. And one of the things is most people have a hard time distinguishing what a goal is. I'll give you an example. I'm going to say three things, and you tell me in the comments which one you think, well, it don't matter if you tell me or not, but which one do you think really is a goal? There'll only be one goal. Okay? We'll say, one day I want to be wealthy. I would like to have $1 million. And I'm going to save $10 today. Now, which one do you think is a goal? Obviously, the last one. I want to save $10 today. Make sure that when you write goals, that they're actually goals. They're obtainable. To say that I want $1 million, you can say that all day long, and you'll never get it. And you can say, I want to be wealthy all day long. It's never going to happen. When you say, I want to save, or I'm going to save $10 this month, that's a tangible goal. For physical goals, I want to lose, 30 pounds in 2 months. Very unrealistic, very unhealthy too. If you want to lose 30 pounds, lose 30 pounds in 6, 8, 12 months. Do it that way, because the problem with doing things like that, you're trying to change your whole dynamic at one swoop. It will never work. You won't do it. You'll fail, because you're going to fall back to what you know best. That's our human nature. We fall back to what we know best. So, I like good food, and it's very obvious. And but this year's the year that I'm going to get to a place where I want to be. And uh, you know, I've had a full hip replacement and a full knee replacement, So I've been kind of down and out a little bit, but I'm on the rebound. I'm doing really well. I'm doing really well. And pretty soon I'll be playing basketball and be hunting Bigfoot with my grandsons and stuff and playing golf and all that. So I could probably play golf now, but I probably should get a cart. But that's good coffee. But, those are things that, for instance, one of my daughters set my phone for steps for 2,000 steps, which sounds like nothing. But for me, I had to work at it. And most of the time, I didn't hit 2,000 steps. But the more I was conscious of it and the more I became aware of it, it didn't happen overnight. And now I think about it all the time. Well, not all the time, but I think about, did I get my steps in? And once I get a solid 2 weeks of 2,000 steps and above, I'm going to raise it to 3,000 because I have a tendency to, when I get involved with something, I'm all in. I jump in with both feet, sometimes both feet, no brain. So, but I've learned these surgeries have taught me that I need to slow down. I need to not be so aggressive because I would talk to my physical therapists who were just really good guys, Jonathan and Michael, outstanding physical therapists. And the doctor that I had, Tim Ballard, outstanding doctor. I would highly recommend him for any kind of hip or knee surgery. Absolutely. The Chattanooga Sports Center for athletes is just over the top. They're just everybody in there, the whole organization. I haven't met a cantankerous, mean, hateful person yet. And that's saying something for the medical field. And I'd highly recommend him. Okay, enough of that. But and it's just something that is near and dear to my heart. I mean, he gave me my life back, and that's a cool thing. That's a really cool thing when you're as active as I was, and I was always going, 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 and then to be sidelined. I was on crutches for 10 years, close to 10 years. I painted a house, the exterior of a house, on crutches. I had scaffolding, my own scaffolding. So I did have a friend of mine help me set up some of the scaffolding. And, but I did that while I was on crutches. So, and I painted the whole house, the whole exterior of the house. And so, but I stayed as active as I could. And it just got to the point where, well, everything was lining up for me. And that's not what this is about. So I don't want to get off into that. But anyway, Dr. Ballard is outstanding and his whole team is just incredible. But, set goals, set them realistically. By the end of 2026, if I'm at the weight that I want to be at, it's a win. If I'm close to the weight I want to be at, it's a win. So, but I've got to start with this, my pie hole, as my one daughter would tell me, and just quit shoveling it in the old pie hole. So, but it's their fault because they're all good cooks and I love good food. But anyway, not really, tasting. But anyway, so, but, you know, set realistic goals. Do things that are realistic, that you can accomplish. I hear a rumbling outside. I don't know if it's thunder I don't know what it was. It was long, but anyway, um, realistic goals. Uh, just like my steps. You know, take it, take it gently. And once you get to a plateau, I've always known when, at least physically, like if I was, a little down and out or something, I had to get back into the groove of things. There's a plateau that I hit in my body that I know, okay, now I can step on the gas. And but you know your own body, so that's up to you. You do you. And but and then your financial goals. Pick out a salary. How much money do you think that you would need to make for you to live happy, a comfortable life? And what I mean by a comfortable life is you can drive the car that you want to drive. Okay. If you want to go buy a new suit or a new dress or, some new clothes or some new kitchen stuff, that you can go buy it and you don't have to worry about, oh, is this my bill money or oh, okay, yeah, I'll go get it. One of the things I would suggest, it's entirely up to you, is um, uh, make different, counts is the wrong word for it. Make different savings items like vacation. That's your savings for vacation. Savings for new clothes, savings for whatever. You fill in the blank, things that are pertain to you, to what you like, those kinds of things, eating out. Any more eating out is, phew, it yeah, it's up there. But see, me personally, I would rather, like I've said before, I would rather make a memory than hang on to money and pass that memory up. I was with one of my grandsons today. We spent pretty much the whole day together. Went to Sam's. We walked all the way around Sam's. And the only reason why we didn't hit the last 4 or 5 aisles is because I was ready to sit down. And I said, so we went and got us a little bite to eat at their little checkout thing there. And they got, man, if you haven't had that pizza pretzel at Sam's, you're missing out. If you like pizza and pretzels, it's delicious, I think. Very reasonable. And their pizzas aren't bad either. But, so we hung out all day. And we rarely get to do that anymore because, he's got his own life. He's got a wife and, he's carving out his niche in the world. And I am just ecstatic for him. But the trade-off is I don't get enough time with him. I'm not able to spend enough time with them. However, when they were young, I spent all the time that I could. Their mom would bring them over to the house. I would go get them, vice versa, just whatever. And then when they got old enough to drive, they would drive. They'd come over. Didn't have to go get them. They would drive and drive back. And that was nice, but that was the beginning of the end. But it's a different, people more in different stages. I know I'm getting off the subject here, but people say, oh, they're getting big. And all that. But it's a new stage, it's a new opportunity. So you have to look at it like that. You can't look at it like, oh, this is over with. It's not over with. It's a new beginning. That facet might not be there as much, but it's a new beginning, And so anyway, we got to spend the day and we made a memory. We had a real good time, talked about everything like we would always talk about. And it was a really good day. and make a memory. Like when we can all go out to eat together, it's 300 bucks. But I have no problem spending 300 bucks to hang out with them and enjoy their company and just sit and talk over good food and food that we like to eat and not worry about what it costs because that's worth it from you. Can't put a price on that, in my opinion. So those are things that I look at, so like eating out might be a goal. That's what we'll call them, goals. And then an emergency fund, uh, play fund, whatever you want to call them. People separate. They'll take their check and they'll pay the bills, whatever they have to pay, and then divide it up. Some in equal parts, some in percentages, and you might think, "Oh, that's so much work." It is not that much work. I give you a challenge. Sit down and for 1 week, one whole 7-day period, you write down every single penny that you spend on what you spend it. Write it down. Make a list of everything. And I mean, leave nothing out. This is for you. You don't have to show nobody. This is for you. And then at the end of the week, you add up the totals in the different categories. It will amaze you how much money you spend that you thought you didn't spend. So, that's how you do that. And so, set some goals. God wants us healthy. God wants us financially stable. Or, in my opinion, I do believe God wants us wealthy, but get wealth His way, not no get rich quick scheme or these TV evangelists. Well, God said for you to send me $1,000. Well, if God tells me to send you $1,000, okay, but I ain't hearing him right now. He ain't saying it. But if you're telling her, God says, when God asks for our money, it's not really the money He wants. He knows the effort that we put forth to obtain that money is us. That's what He wants. He wants us. It's not really the money. He wants to know that we're all in with Him because He's got it. I mean, He's got it. We have to show Him that we're with Him. Some people say God's on my side. Well, I'm on God's side. I have done, some things that, God didn't want me to do, but I did them anyway. And I thank God that He was on my side because He corrected me. So, but, you want to, God wants us healthy. He wants us wealthy. He wants us spiritually healthy. Actually wants us spiritually wealthy. Because once you get into the Word and you start, studying the Word, really studying the Word, God will open up His scriptures to you like you just couldn't imagine. And it's really a cool thing. It really is. But for money, God don't want us broke. He don't want His. Do you want your kids broke? Do you want your children walking around with no money in their pocket? Do you want your children having to borrow money to buy a car? Do you want your children to beg you for food. No, I want my children to exceed where I was at in life. I want my children to exceed that. And 2 out of 3 ain't bad so far. So, you know, it's a good thing. And there's hope for the other one too. But um, you know, you have to go forward. You really have to go forward. You people have such a crazy theory on money, you know, and there's a lot of the trouble is there's a lot of pastors, there's a lot of preachers and teachers out there that think poverty is next to godliness, and the Catholic priests, they take on um, a vow of poverty. At least when I was in the church, many years ago. Um, but the thing is the church would buy their vehicles. So a lot of the priests, especially the ones that were principals of the schools, they drove Cadillacs and Lincolns and all that. I had one teacher, Father Martin. I believe he went to be with the Lord. He was my religious teacher in my high school, and because I went to a parochial high school, and he was incredible. He drove a Maverick, and that thing was just. He'd go down the street, you knew it was him because the fenders would vibrate and it sounded like the thing was about to take off. But and he was the thing that I remembered about him most, not his demeanor or how kind he was, or all of that. He was just a real person, and a couple guys, we'd get some pizza and some beer, and we'd go over and hang out with them. I mean, now, and I say that respectfully. Don't take it and run with, you know, I don't ever remember him drinking a beer, ever. But we would bring beer and pizza. He talked to us, and, we would I'd bring friends that weren't Catholic. And that's what he liked, because then he could witness to him. But he was just a good guy. But what I remember the most about him is that he had so many degrees in psychology and human stuff, whatever it is, psychiatric or humanness. um, he That's what he did. He'd go to school. In the summer, when he was off, he would go to school. He was always in school, had all kinds of degrees, but he had common sense. And I learned a great deal from him. And, it was pretty cool. So, but God wants us, you know, healthy, wealthy, and spiritually strong, you know, and there's plenty of scriptures that back that up. So I think I'm going to end this one right here, and we'll see what's next on the agenda. So remember, keep reading, keep praying, and keep believing. And you have a great week. See ya.